Yeah, I don't think you understand Wittgenstein at all. I don't mean to be mean or anything, but it's as bad as if you were to call Glenn Beck a communist or something. Like, everything you think he believes the exact opposite, actually. Wittgenstein is not a metaphysician. In fact, one of his titles is the destroyer of metaphysics. He is not a metaphysician. He's like the anti-metaphysics type things. Also, he was not really a believer or a theist. If you go back to the video that you had in your description, he wasn't like an all-out theist, believing in God type. All he was talking about was how we can understand the language of God and how God and belief in God can shape our lives. But in general, he seemed to come off as an agnostic when it came to God and all that. Also, you talked about him like he was an emotivist. He's not an emotivist at all. He's not like you just feel your way around things. No, like this guy's not a postmodernist. He's a very analytic type guy. Also, you say he's a forgotten philosopher. He's like the most Wittgenstein is probably one of the most important philosophers, like of modern times. Like all English-speaking philosophy is very connected to Wittgenstein. And also, he does not say that language is irrelevant and all language is imprecise. Like, it's very evident you've never read Wittgenstein. In Wittgenstein, language is like everything. Like, language is super important. All he's saying with language is imprecise is that language is often misused. We don't understand language very well. Most philosophy is a misuse of language, to the point to where if we were to understand language and use language correctly and understand language, we would solve most problems. And he also talks about truth is tied in mostly with language. Truth is mostly about the truth and falsity of propositions. Like especially with early Wittgenstein, truth has to do with the truth of propositions and how they successfully or unsuccessfully relate to the world. So he doesn't say that language is not important. He says that language is very important. It's like the most important thing in philosophy. Like Wittgenstein, he sees the scientist as very important. He does not act like the scientist isn't. He is very science-based, and he sees philosophy. He sees the whole point of philosophy, he says, is simply to clear away ideas. The whole goal of the philosopher should be to find where language is being misused and teach people how to use language correctly, how to stop misusing language, how to use language correct in the own games where they were created, and to clear away ideas. He's very similar to Locke. Locke's idea was he talked about how he would at least like to be able to clear away the garbage of confusion. And that's what he saw philosophy as primarily useful for. Philosophy is useful for finding ideas which are confused and making them clear. So pretty much everything you think Wittgenstein believes, it's the opposite, actually. I don't think you said a single thing true about Wittgenstein at all. And another thing, if you ever hear people quoting Wittgenstein, just assume they're wrong. I mean, I took a Wittgenstein seminar last year, got an A-. Now, I'm not an expert in Wittgenstein by any stretch of the means, but I've at least read the two main books, De Tractatus and Philosophic Investigations, and we're talking about like two different people. So to recap, Wittgenstein destroys metaphysics. Wittgenstein basically says that, especially early Wittgenstein, that truth has to do with the truth and falsity of propositions, and that anything else we must remain agnostic on. So we have to remain agnostic about God for the most part. We can understand the language and how God can look things up, and we can't do metaphysics at all under Wittgenstein, because we can't say true or false with metaphysics. We can't do system building. So he's not a metaphysician. He's not an emotivist. He doesn't think that feelings make true, that truth can make. He doesn't think that feelings equal truth at all. Like you talk like him as emotivist. He's also He is popular still. He's very well He's very influential. He's practically influenced all philosophy, especially English-speaking stuff. And to him, language is everything. Propositions, the truth and falsity of propositions is very, very important. And also, I forgot to mention, the whole lion bit, you totally misunderstand the lion bit. The lion bit was that we couldn't understand the lion because the lion doesn't understand language. And because we can't speak language with the lion can't understand language, that's why we can't understand them. It has nothing to do with like feelings or emotion or sentimentalism. It has to do with just the simple fact that the lion doesn't speak human. So yeah, just everything you know about Wittgenstein is wrong. Everything. And you need to read Tractatus and you need to read PI and then you'll understand.